Well, on this discussion segment, it's all about what is happening in the country. We are focusing more on the southeastern part of Nigeria. We get to hear IPOB, we get to hear about ESN, we get to hear about IPOB, we get to hear about INEC offices being attacked, we get to hear also about the sit-at-home order. Yes, according to report, it's like there's a faction right now in IPOB/ESN. One faction, according to reports, been led by Kano, Nnamdi Kano, while the other has been led by Pia. And of course, the Pia faction gave, sit at home for 5 days. The Nnamdi Kano faction countered it, but people were so scared, don't know who to believe. People ventured going out, they were attacked. They choose to sit at home for 5 good days. What in the world is really going on? Someone said that this is continue. It might just impact the election in that region. The big question now is the governors in the eastern part, the southeastern part of Nigeria, they're able to curb this, or they're losing it totally. Don't forget that Mahmoud Yakubu shouted and said, look, Nigerians, we are having serious heat here because the election is under threat. He gave good reasons for that. As we are yet talking, or we are yet speaking about this, the accused security agencies have not been able to prosecute anyone to bring them to book. Anyway, all these and more we'll take a look at today's installment of This Morning on ITV. You get to hear put food on the table. You will not hear of all these things or see all these things happening. Calling the voice of the masses, join me to welcome Okoro Osahon Obaraye. Welcome to TMI on this edition.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Wilson. I think a compliment of the season, my esteemed viewers.
All right. As very close to me, he is a vibrant youth, a very young one at that, and he is politically inclined. When you talk about youth leadership, he is there. Join me to welcome Victory Osborne. Hope I got that name correct.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. Welcome to TMI on this edition.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate the coming. He is a national president of Edo Student Association, right?
Yes.
Welcome, welcome. All right. Okoro Osahon Obaraye, I want to start off from you. You know, this has been a recurrent threat, especially in the eastern part of the country. And of course, right now it's beginning to threaten the conduct of the election in that region. I mean, sit at home today, sit at home every Monday, right now, 5 days sit at home. People are like saying this sit at home is getting so much. How did that region got to this position?
Failure of leadership. And when you, let me quote General Sani Abacha in one of his comments. He stated that when things like this continue to happen in a system, you know that the government is involved, because no individual...
That is quoting General Sani Abacha.
Yeah. So when evil like this keep on reoccurring, you know the government is in one way involved, because there's no single individual, no matter how small the government, that is greater than the government. No single individual. Except collectively, you cannot say collectively you can be greater, but an individual telling a brother not to move goes to show that the way my mom would say it, or when we money do what makes the bed dance very well outside, the drama is hidden somewhere. So if we also talk about the presidency failing in securing that environment, we should not also just leave it, also quarreling with the governors who jokingly started supporting one way or the other, maybe trying to upturn a government, which Marshall was a governor today, we won't forgive him, let's mobilize our militants against him. And maybe at the end you also become getting there, you also now leave that lacuna of leadership, not permission of what you did. These people have now in time go. But I think the greatest losers are those that also believe in the state-at-home issue. Because you say a man dies once, not twice. If an individual sits somewhere in his comfort zone and say, don't move, so all of you sit at home. If everybody decides to come out, that law is gone. I get it. If it is not government saying it now, with government support and everybody decides to come out, I think there will be an headway. But to me, it goes to show because government is involved fully, things like this will still keep coming on. But I am also, if you don't know that the presidency because of maybe gaining momentum or gaining money, as in also using this as a bait for collecting our natural resources. I think when they said there was not going to be election in Anambra, the presidency went there and the election was contested free and fair, nothing happened, and they left. So if that same presidency tells you nothing is happening, then nothing will happen. But because of failure in leadership, the souls of the commoner is no longer what our leaders, what they swore to uphold to say the lives and the security of the citizenry shall be their utmost priority. But as we speak for the very just, there is already failure in that quotation where this one go to. So my heart bleeds that even amongst those people, because no one is free. I'm going to talk from the government, those people, even let's also go to those giving this other city. My very big brother, Kanu, sat in his own comfort zone, moving from one place to the other, giving commands, and when the military was ready to pick him up, before I took it over, they did and brought him to Nigeria, faced the charges, and he's still there. Everything didn't fall. That goes to tell you the power of government.
Power of government.
Yeah, power of government. That government doesn't want to use it. Now, Kanu is there. And a fracture is already there again. That goes to tell you trust in leadership. People giving command now. Now have two commanders. One saying, don't go to the other one saying, no, go. So it goes to tell you again, there's also lacuna, which also goes to show that there's failure in that angle too, on their part, not to also be in tandem with what they've said together. So it goes to show failure in both we that have believed to say because they said we should not come out, we're not going to come out. If we decide to come out collectively to say, no, I think these people, they've taken us for right too far. Yeah. Let's move out.
Let's move out.
Let's move out. Okay. And if we move out, heaven will not fall.
Okay. I will come back to you on that. Well, Victory, you heard him. He said it's a failure in leadership. That's the reason why they are where they are today. If you take a look at the issue, get to hear about IPOB, don't forget about their agitation. Do you think that agitation is still rife? It's still germane? I want to talk about this dispensation.
Well, in international laws and diplomacy, there is the liberty and right for any group to seek for secession. However, the context in which they are seeking for secession and their agitations, the core issues behind the agitations, as we see in Nigeria right now, is not wrong. Because you have a country that has failed in all the indices. All the indices of a failed state, I think Nigeria has passed. The primary role of the government is to secure lives and properties. And we have the highest in Nigeria history, the highest rate of insecurity right now in Nigeria. And when you have insecurity in a system, it becomes difficult for you to make economic progress. People are suffering from the offshoots of insecurity. We are talking about the agitations from the Southeast. They want to be free because they feel that they have all the structures it takes to secure their people. That's basically what they've put on the table. That they have what it takes to secure their people. They have the economic resources to sustain their people. And let's not also forget where the beginning of the agitation started from in the times of Ojukwu. If you ask me, they had a proper security network that was securing the borders of the Southeast, or of Biafra as it were at that time. So if it took the country, the commander of the armed forces to mobilize and say this is a fight between Nigeria and Biafra, and it took them quite a while before they could even subdue them. They were constantly taking care of themselves. They had the resources to take care of themselves. They even had borders They had borders for which they were exporting and importing goods. They had a proper network for both economic advances and their security. So if you have that type of a state that has assumed that for independent existence, they have all that it takes to assume that, then I don't think that the agitations are quite wrong at this time. However, we want to look at Nigeria as a singular entity. And anybody who wants to go against the independent people of Biafra is only assuming that Nigeria can still coexist as a single entity, which is quite questionable at this time, considering that Nigeria is already a failed state.
Well, if you say it's a face, it's your own opinion, but people would disagree to that. And don't forget that the integrity of Nigeria is unquestionable. We are one indivisible entity. Well, he has spoken his mind. If you take a look at the situation right now, you get to hear INEC installations being attacked. You get to hear police stations being attacked. You get to hear citizens from that particular region that have been maimed, have been attacked because they choose to disobey the sit-at-home order given by this set of persons. Do you think it is going to have any impact in the election? Obarai.
Yeah, we can. I would first of all not want to say Nigeria is a failed state.
No, it's not. I've already corrected that already.
If Nigeria is a failed state,
perspective.
No, perspectively, no. You are comfortably seated here, so you cannot sit in a failed state. We drove. I drove from Miriwi down here. If it was a failed state,
no, we have to do that.
I don't do that. So when something is failed, it has totally collapsed. I get in the collapse system. We can't even be watching. In a failed state, we can't be watching. Your phones, everything are shut down. So if Russia is still telling you they are not, and the other country they are fighting war with has not agreed that they are in a failed state. So we in Nigeria, we still see, though leadership, I don't support, leadership has failed already. There's a crack in the system already. A total collapse. A total collapse, but that's not yet failed. If it was failed, we won't be planning for elections. We won't be planning for, there will not be campaigns ongoing. If it was a failed state, people will not tell you sit at home. Police will not come and arrest you. Police will also be running for there because it's failed. So the truth must be told. I will not be against any individual fighting to live, to who want to become, but you must do it in tandem with laid down procedures. Laid down. It's not by killing, shooting the people you want to liberate. Who are you not liberating? You sit at home, don't move. For a market woman that sells fish, not to go to market for 5 days, her goods are condemned totally. I get it. So if you are already impoverishing your people with your sit-at-home order, they are already impoverished. You are already going to show that you are going to be autocratic in moving, because it's supposed to be a collective decision. You people have senators, you people have House of Rep members, you have House of Assemblies. Are you getting it now? That can go to say this is how we want to go. But I think we are not discussing that for now. What we are discussing now is how is it going to affect the election. I told you that in Anambra State, I think that is okay. Apart from Oshun, yeah, Akiti, Anambra, the election was conducted less than a year ago or close to, and nothing happened. But I also foresee that the people you are seeing now cannot on election day tell you not to come out when the government is ready to come out. But we visited Imo, and Imo that nothing happened. I get it now. So what is happening there is the people forming to be operating. If they tell you money, Kanu and this has at their beck and call because of this issue. My brother is salami. That is why they will not. These people don't even want peace to reign because
they are making money.
Yes, they are. It's a conduit pipe for making money for them. For people that don't understand, maybe they'll just speak to their diaspora brothers, and those will say, okay, my brother, do you also know what it takes to own a private radio? I get it now. These people, tell me where they work. Tell me, which one works ITV, that I know, that you can see. Tell me where Kanu and Okpa works. Just tell me. If you tell me, I think I want to work there so that I also be. But you can see that these people already know that, okay, Ojukwu did not do it this way. if the way Ojukwu did it, that is why today he's still being seen as an hero, which we are yet to see another person who followed due process. So the government of Nigeria, if it's ready for them for election, my brother, they will conduct election. What they do is just to make sure it's like I know Wisi can beat me, and when Wisi is not at home, I quickly go to Wisi and throw stone on his zinc, break his glass and run away. That is what, the government just also gave you people the second Niger bridge. Don't disturb. Why didn't people stop? There are things now you are supposed to show to government that you blow up, do things. And when government told you they were looking for Kanu, where is Ogbogbo Sunday, my brother, from the west? Where is he? When government was not ready. So the attitude is that we have a government that is saying not taking lives and property seriously.
Well, they may differ to that.
Yeah, they may differ. No, the reason why I'm saying it, is that for somebody to have said this, it's a treasonable offense. It's a treasonable offense. Right. And you know what treasonable offense is.
Yes, okay.
Pray for somebody not to tell you what you've done is treasonable.
Now, for what he said the government, they're like, treating this matter with kids' gloves, that if they're ready for these persons, they can take them off the map. How true is this? Do you believe what he said?
Well, I believe that either must fight equity, or fight for equity must come with clean hands. The government themselves have failed in securing lives and properties. And when there is insecurity, you give room for other nonsense to happen. For example, the gross insecurity in Nigeria across the Federation is the reason why some other groups are coming up. And if care is not taken, the projections are that in another 10 years, if we continue at this rate of unemployment, if we continue at this, let's just say, for example, a 2.67% population growth, in another 10 years, we won't be able to sleep with our eyes closed. Because we will have a lot of groups also coming up to make agitations and to make requests for what they want. So if the government is serious, they must take the issue of security very seriously. It must be at the hallmark of their bargain when they want to start off making Nigeria a better place. Then you have to prioritize security such that you see a serious government when you start seeing advancements in security across the Federation. If the government is serious, a serious government can tackle the issue of security. We have all it takes. We have all it takes to make Nigeria a better place in terms of security. So, I'm in support with what he has said. It's just a reflection. What we are seeing today is just a reflection of the fact that governments are not serious. A serious government will tackle the issue of security.
The serious government, because according to the government of the day, they are very serious in tackling security situation. 1 hour ago, government said courts are blazing Imo, destroyed valuables. Done the newspaper. It just happened an hour, 2 hours ago. That same region, the eastern part of Nigeria. Some are saying that these do have political undertone. How true is this accusation? Yeah, that some politicians are behind all this.
No, I betted my adoration today, first of all, by saying it's political. If you remember, that's why I started with political, because there's a narrative for who wears the crown in 2023, and everybody wants to be a champion, either on the emergence of who is going to wear the crown or him wear the crown. But I think the trying to hide it to say it does not have political undertone is not also welcome. The reason is because you can see with your eyes, Anya, what the governor of Imo keeps saying. Few days ago, I think there was a video clip where you saw the policemen with some men on the floor shouting, so now they keep police, as in, you saw it now, it was that the people terrorizing some part in the east have been caught, that they saw police uniforms with them, rifles with them. So, because it's political. I also started by telling you that a government that came to say, Wilson, let's move, after using you people, but giving you power, backup, financially, everything, and at the end, what people promised did not come. If you remember, that's also what happened in Bono. I get it now. in trying to get power. After getting that power, these people were now too rich and well sophisticated with ammunitions for government to just say, go and sit down. There is no agitator now that want to work in any government power sector again because of the type of money, huge money that comes in, just like a kidnapper. How much are you going to pay to Evans, the kidnapper? Which, he cannot no longer work in share. If a man can collect close to $100,000 for a kidnapping matter, where is he going to get that as a worker in share? So they've seen that as an avenue for them to be rich. So if government also want to make it a thing, if you put laws in place, appropriate laws in place, that whatsoever, these people that have been caught, they do mention names. By the time they mention a name and that person second place is Aso Rock, who is going to pick up that person from Aso Rock? I get it now. Because all these things still boils down to who holds the power, who dictates it. I even know, that's why you also see that our government, they are so serious that on Monday, Bush Marshall will be in a party. On Tuesday, before the break of Tuesday, you see him in CCC party. On Wednesday, on that Monday, he's telling you if I leave AA, I'm gone, and this. On Tuesday, he's telling you this is a new home. On Wednesday, he's telling you I never knew that if you don't leave UAC, you will not get work in UTL. On Thursday, he's telling you, oh, no place like home is back to it. So, first of all, people are the forefront of the ends of affairs. They also have integrity. By the time you have a government that has integrity, a government that makes sure that what I say is what I do, what I promise. Are you getting it now? Things like this, we should not have metamorphosed to this. We jokingly toyed with it. In 1999, it wasn't like this. But in 1999, boys started mobilizing. Niger Delta started. Blowing up pipes. Warri, that was a signature of ours. My brother Onyeka that came to visit me from Warri last night. I saw him and I was depressed. But in that, when they were all booming, everywhere was booming. But when Yar'Adua came, I said, okay, this Ministry of Niger Delta, the Shopee issue, brought some things to. I mean, 80% of those that went abroad came back. After coming back, they've learned skills and everything. Who is going to place them again? Nobody. Failure in leadership. You now hear the money that was meant for so. One the banks collected. You not start hearing. All right. You not start hearing.
All right.
Failure money that was meant for Wisi Marshall. One Mr. Olufemi collected it. And what happened to Olufemi is you go to court to tell you, Mr. Olufemi pay 20,000. You are go and see no more. When you know that person has caused so many pains, and death and hunger to people.
Okay, I'll come back to Barry now. Our victory, he said totally that what is happening in the southern eastern part of Nigeria, we talk about the disturbance, but this group is highly political, and they gave reasons for that. Do you share his views and opinions?
Well, the origin of a matter, for us in the medicals, if you have pain, for example, in your leg, and you have poor sensation, it's okay for you to want to take care of the pain. Maybe from the general weakness you get while walking. But then there is a root cause, probably as a result of an infiltration in the spine. And I think that is almost the same thing happening with Nigeria. There is a root cause of these insecurity issues. And it's not far-fetched from our politicians, like you said, who have equipped these persons with ammunitions and giving them the financial capacity to go about their activities. In line with what he has said, you don't give you don't give ammunitions to people who are naturally dangerous because you want to have to use them in elections, to steal ballot boxes, to destroy polling units where you think your opponent has an upper hand. And in the end, the terms of agreements, when you met them prior to the time, you eventually win and you don't want to fulfill your own part of the agreement. And these same persons, you did not collect the ammunitions back from them. You did not remove the money, the financial capacity you gave to them. You never incapacitated them. Now, you also think that while breaching the agreement, they won't come after you and they won't start destroying properties and going after innocent people. That is the reality of Nigeria. That is how we got here. Because these ammunitions ordinarily should only be accessible to the security agencies. But our politicians have access to it. They go across the borders to go and buy them. They go across the nation to go and buy them, bring them and equip thugs with them. And this is where we are. Because like I was talking about the economic burden of war and the insecurity that it causes. With some friends of mine when we were talking about the after effect of the Ukraine-Russia war. I actually told them, you have right now the government giving ammunitions to normal civilians in the country to go and fight war. When the war eventually subsides, will you also go back to these persons to take the ammunitions back from them? It simply means that I can't insult someone on the street because he will just pull out his gun and poof, you're gone. So these are the issues, the after effect of the decisions, the devilish and evil decisions that some of our politicians have taken in the past out of desperation, out of the frantic race to get into political offices. And you won't take it far away from what is happening in the Northeast. We've seen in history when they've had to remove some governments, some through judicial redress, some through forceful attacks and the likes. Even while the court has ruled in favor of some others, you still see that the governors are not free to walk along the streets because of the fear of insecurity. And that's where we are. And I also wanted to talk about the fashion that we have now, the so-called perceived fashion in the IPOB group. And when I was talking with a friend, I said that's very, very political, because you have IPOB coming out to say they have seen the implications of some of these attacks on INEC offices, and they've come to distance themselves from it and say, look, it's not us. We won't go after INEC offices because we have no issues with them. In fact, we want a free and fair election to be conducted in the Southeast. However, these are some of the attacks that we suspect are government motivated, because they want to paint IPOB as the evil group such that the people, the real agitations and the core issues of the agitations are forgotten, and then the people are starting to feel that the same IPOB group do not even mean well for them. Because you can't imagine you're asking somebody to sit at home for 5 days, and in the end, you are also declaring that there will be no election in the Southeast. I'm talking about the factional leadership
yes,
now.
IPOB faction.
IPOB faction, saying that there will be no election in the Southeast. And the IPOB is saying, we want elections to be conducted free and fair, because we want to look at the core issues that are responsible for the agitations. If by having, for example, supposedly having an Igbo president will help solve some of these issues, I think that the clamor for secession will eventually die down. So if they want to also look at the alternatives to getting what they want. They want an Igbo president, which for the first time in the history of Nigeria is probably realistic now. And some of all the other issues that they are talking about, they may eventually get addressed if they have an Igbo presidency. So I don't think that IPOB as a group is not looking at an alternative. They are looking for an alternative. But they also have the government, on the other hand, who will stop at nothing to ensure that they can utilize. When I'm talking about the government, I'm talking about those in power and those aspiring to be in power. Because there are also politicians who probably are not in power now, but want to also see how they can sponsor the insecurity in the Southeast by alternative factions who they will eventually bring up to start declaring what, for example, the authentic faction of IPOB is not saying. So we look at all of these issues and we see the clear politicking, devilish politicking in Nigeria. That's my own take, that it is government motivated. You cannot remove government from the insecurity in the Southeast.
But please, the government of the day are saying they are not the one, that this set of persons, IPOB, that the ones responsible, and IPOB also is accusing the government. It's like, accusation and counter-accusation, and now we now have a splinter group. With the advent of this splinter group, and Kano is still saying, look, all these killings should stop. According to report, is the one that has been painted to be the leader of IPOB, and he's saying he's not responsible for this new regime, so to speak, of the sit-at-home, various attacking INEC offices, attacking courthouses, attacking police stations. Saying he's not the one responsible. How can this thing be resolved, Barry?
It will be resolved if we follow it bumper to bumper.
Bumper to bumper,
Yeah,
how?
follow it due process. Nobody is telling you that the agitation is not welcoming.
Yes.
It is very, very welcoming, but the truth also must be told. Welcoming in what form? If you watch, we are trying to repeat or mimic what we've done before. Because I also said, now you are fighting. Fighting who? You've told your mom not to go to market for 5 days. If your mom was in a critical condition, maybe she needed oxygen, how is she going to get it for that 5 days? So you are now also now blowing and acting same way where you are running from. You are acting like them. I get it now. We protested when government brought all sanctions during the COVID to tell us to sit at home because the effect was enormous on us. Same government had palliative measures to see, though it was also stolen by same government who brought it out. But I think we heard them. Now you are saying people should sit at home. What is your palliative measures to make sure that these people that are going to sit at home, things are going to be okay for them? You are not telling us that. You are just saying everything must be done the way you want to do it. And there's no government that will allow you just, from your behavior, give you what you are agitating for. Are you getting it now? If you are doing this, Sunday, my brother that is cooling off in
Sunday Boho?
Yeah, somewhere now. His was not this type. But the government saw it that, no, for you to be gathering people and instigating them against any other side goes to show that you are. And since will Nigeria government tell you they don't have what it takes to take him out from that prison and bring him here? No, they have it, but maybe they just, okay, since those people, you see the confines, they're better for them. But now, Kanu, you are telling us you are not involved. You are saying that because you are somewhere trying to save your own head. All these issues started by not telling your people the truth. I get it now. Because these two people were once together, like this. I get it now. Kanu on top, him.
Yeah,
so
Kanu
Kanu is not there now. He has now, the new leadership has come. And new leadership will come now. This will tell you, Kanu is not dead now, just somewhere. Look at leadership. They've given you, and yours is, you are no longer listening. So how will Kanu not tell you is in tandem with you? Because you are no longer, you are blowing more hot. The government of the day now will not give you Kanu. Because look at the area you say you want to, if we give him, he's not going to be worse off. You can see what happened, their march in solidarity for Kanu's judgment in the East. It was like a tsunami. Now, a sensible government will now release that back to the society. Getting him back will also make some lives and properties also get lost. So they'll just kill him off maybe till after 2023 election. But the truth must be told. What the leaders of the Igbos need to do now is that people have been saying, you people cannot come together, you people cannot come together. Why not shamishly now come together to say, these people, Wissing and Co that have been saying, we are not united, no, there's no unison here. Let's really come together. Surely, if you also watch, after Ojukwu, Azikiwe, who can you now look onto? That's as we are seated here now. As a journalist, they just point to say, who is the king in the southeast that can sit down, like you have that individual from the other group or somewhere that can sit down and call everybody together to say, this was not what our forefathers started. And from the way of things, we are losing this battle day in, day out. We are even, first of all, we are fewer in the structural nature of Nigeria. Then the killing, the suffering is now more here. Secondly, we are also the business empire. I get it now. There's, if you go to a place, you didn't see an Igbo man, but I run away from that place. Or you go to somewhere and they tell you Coca-Cola is not here, run away from there. So if Igbos are known for that, how come you people are not losing it? Why not try to get yourself economically gained and viable? This stress you're putting into say we want our own. Are you telling me if the investment drive was there. The signature of our, if everybody is enjoying, it's far better. If now you have the second, use what the defect you have, use it to clamor for people coming in. With Dubai, I tell you, nobody should come here. No, the easiest place you can travel to now once you have your passport and your money is Dubai. And because they know you are coming there to spend. So if the leaders in the Southeast sit down to say, okay, since they are disturbing us to get our own, let's get things right here. In 30 years, 40 years ago, I'm not sure anybody will tell you they are going to Dubai, neither Qatar. But today you can see what Qatar did for the World Cup. Yes, you saw it. That everybody that is going to sit today to watch the finals is going to get a gift. It's the first time it's happening in the history of football. But 30, 40 years ago, not to even talk about football at all. They were not to talk about coming to do this. So the Igbos can also sit down to say, no, since people are doing this, let's do this in unison. We are killing our people day in, day out because of power. And these people you are saying now, the Igbos, you are already cracked up in Nigeria population, state-wise, a collation of numbers of votes registered. I'm aware that you are aware that the entire Southeast vote, a local government in Kano has it. The entire Southeast vote. Just the 5 states they have, a local government in Kano, not the state, a local government in Kano will bring it at top poll. So if you know this defect, these are the things you are supposed to sit down to say, no, don't give us, leave Biafra, no. Why not give us more states?
Okay.
Why not give us more local government? Why not give us more constituency? Okay. So that you, first of all, start bringing. These are what the Northerners do. And you say they don't understand politics. Okay. That you see that if you are popular in the North, you hear Wilson Marshall's local government. They give it as like they are giving you free gift. So they will not do it when people are shouting, no, I want to, they will not agree, we will not agree. They will not tell you, you check. Let's state vote. Let senators vote. You have the number.
I'll come back to your barrier. Now, do you think the release of Nnamdi Kanu will ease this tension in that region? Because everyone say, look, don't let Kanu die in detention. Give him to us. We are not responsible for all this. If that man is released, do you think he's going to check all this? Does he be able to put Ikbia in his place?
You know, I've always said about the indices of a failed state. And it's also not far from law, equity, justice, and order. If you have a court ruling and a court order that has said, release this man to the public, it will, like in my introduction, I'm also a student, and when our professors went on strike for 8 months, the government of the day, they had to go back to their drawing boards and decided what will this set of persons listen to, and eventually went to court. And there was a court ruling by the industrial court that said, go and resume. That was the order to the lecturers. And the professors who had lawyers, who had people who understood the rule of law, decided before we can make more demands and agitations, let us return back to class. It wasn't convenient for them, but they had to make the decision to go back to class. So if there is a court order, is government above the court order? That's where I think that we should start from. There is a court order that said, release this man. And I think that in obedience to court ruling, to court order and the rule of law, the federal government should have released Nnamdi Kanu. How you want to nub all of the excesses that will result from that decision is up to government to also take. However, I do feel that, in all honesty, releasing Nnamdi Kanu to IPOB is the best decision to take right now. Because you would only eventually, first of all, establish your disobedience to the rule of law, and then again, increase the agitations. People are agitating, release him to us. You are not feeding him well. We have enough resources, just like you said, these people have enough resources. They said they have enough resources to feed him and to get his expensive drugs, which they feel that his detention in DSS is not being fed well, and these drugs are not adequately catered for. So they have said, and I think that in all honesty, the agitations will increase ahead of the 2023 elections, because it is becoming clear that the motive of government is to keep him in detention until after 2023 elections. And they have said he also wants to be part of the elections. He also wants to join in mobilizing his people to come out and not be disenfranchised.
Yeah, so some are saying he's saying that because he's in JSS custody. That's why he's saying all that.
No, I do not
why
think
was
so.
out there? You get to hear some of his recordings, some of his orders, some of his speech against the territorial integrity of this great country.
From what we've said, there are two factions as we speak. And we already said that it has been established that his faction wants election to hold. Because they have come to say the order that the elections should not hold in the Southeast is not from us and we want elections to hold. We are also not responsible for the attacks on the INEC offices. So if they have established that, irrespective of what he has said against the integrity and the entity of Nigeria as one, we should also not remove the fact that they are also looking at alternatives. That's why I said, if the agitations for the secession of Biafra from Nigeria is what they keep emphasizing on, I think that at this critical time in Nigeria, they are also considering the fact that there are alternatives. And one of the alternatives is the fact that for the first time in the history of Nigeria, they have a chance at presidency. So I do not also think that they are not looking at in that direction. So if you ask me, release Nnamdi Kanu to IPOB, reduce the agitations, the protests in the Southeast, the continuous gathering of people to say, give us this person, give us this person. And they have vowed, in fact, they have issued a threat to government that if anything should happen to him, they won't take it lightly with government. So if in the obedience of the court order and the rule of law, and to foster peace and unity, because the faction came up as a result of the fact that he was not available. And it means that if he comes back, their utmost leader becomes Nnamdi Kanu, which means that to a large extent, the second in command, or who has already gone to form a faction, should also come under the authority of Nnamdi Kanu should he return. So I think that they will be able to sit, have a discourse and settle things amongst themselves when he is back. But he's somewhere in DSS detention, and with in fairness to the second in command who has now become the leader, he also wants to show his power. He also wants to show that he's a leader. He also wants to show that he has a mind of his own to make decisions. So with the coming back of Nnamdi Kanu, I do think that it will make things better for Nigeria and in the Southeast.
Over to you, Nobari. Do you agree? Said releasing Nnamdi Kanu to IPOB will make things better in that region. There will be peace after all, according to what he said. He too wants to be part of the election.
Yeah, thank you so much. I listened to him attentively, and I'm not tired with that. The reason is because nobody threatens government. After God is government. You cannot say one of the session people, if you don't release Kanu, will do it. Nobody threatens government. Government is government. Are you getting it? Government.
It's government.
Government. You don't write it with small g. It's capital G. Government. If you know what is government, you will not say they are releasing. Government will just tell you now, the radio, three of you, don't leave this region, don't leave this place. Government. If you leave it at your own peril, whatever you see, you get it. So why will you say, government? I say, don't go, I'll go. And SARS protest when government came out, what happened? So you don't, that is government. It's like a home. You must protect. You don't have rights. You are already, first of all, a citizen here. Government went somewhere and picked you and took you there. You are saying court. Who is court? For government.
But nobody is above the rule of law.
Okay. Who is court? Government now is security of lives and properties. So if releasing Wisham Marshall is at the peril of lives and security, government will keep him there first. Not for you, not for court matter, for the security purposes. Why, if you want to release somebody, say go on DPP, somebody will advise. So say, government, this one, okay. You advise. Because if the people also come, if it's released tomorrow, and nothing happens, clap for both sides. But what if it's released and something happens? Who are you going to blame? I'm asking you, who are you blaming? Who are you blaming? Should the case something happens when it's released tomorrow? So for government to not say, okay, no, let's wait, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this. Government also work. Me, I'm not telling you I'm supporting these people. You should understand my issue. But you don't also joke when it comes to issues that concerns law and order. Because if we are yet in the first state, we don't be yet speaking. We still have a government that is planning, that our budget is out. Are you getting it now? You gave an example of a school. If Nigeria was a first state, there would be no school. Neither people tell you to go to school. You don't go to school. You don't go to school. You don't go to market. You don't go anywhere. Will you go to school now in Southeast? I tell you, sit at home mother. Will any court now tell you, we see, go to school? Then you now just say, because court said, go to school, you are going to school. When so people have told you, don't leave. Oh. Then you now, they will not shoot you. Court will not tell you, no, stand up, don't shoot him again. Don't shoot him again. No, now. That's our laugh. So the truth remains, government, good or bad, is government. I get it now. So what we pray is to have a better government that believes in the rule to say these are things to do well. But don't say because government is lying low, doing like this, you now say, no, who is government? Government will not tell you why they are government. When my very good friend was singing praises and insulting the government, nobody spoke now. But when government told you that, listen, that your skyscraper is on a government land and drove something there, who was there? The boys that were there on that day to stop government were more than the police that came. But government stood, and that was government destroying everything, go level. And you are also going to pay for disturbing government time to come clear here. That is government, which you must do. Even if you don't do it now, a time will come, government will tell you, you have that money, bring it. When government also saw that the youth in the area I stay everywhere, that they are big boys and they have all what it takes to, if you are with them when they are doing, they'll tell you, hey, ammunition, we can fight government. I will laugh at government. When government heard that they will resist them going, government has said curfew 24 hours. I was affected because I already drove home when I saw it. And my brother, for the first time in my life, I did not hear ping, ping, ping. I did not hear keke. I did not hear everybody. Everybody was on a standstill. Well, it was like a movie. Government moving. Government was not moving. And government went to the area. Whoa! All those boys. After I buy money, now came my staff for testing. Who did they protest to again? Government. Telling you, my brother, go. So, government, what you need to do, government, is since government has given us the for 2023, we need to put, don't just look at presidency. That is where we also as followers fail. The presidency is not good. The presidency is not good. When the president now told you the money they've given to state governors, that has not been released since 1999, was it the presidency you still want to not blame? All the billions they told you. A governor came out to say, we were giving this, oh, this is why you see that I'm building this, doing that. Then the others now say, I'm a boy, I know you to be talk because of election. Now you they talk. But you didn't say it now. This guy just told you where he has been getting money from because people are saying he stole, he did this, and he's told you that this is where. I don't like Buhari, but he gave us this. Think of it that if we had a governor that also released the same to local government, the presidency has given. Now that same governor also do it to local government. I think some streets that are unpassable would have been graded.
All right.
I get it now. So we should, when talking about government, we should not just feel that because we know how to speak English and say government. Government will make you to say, from tomorrow don't speak English again. From tomorrow don't wear suit. It's government.
All right.
They will tell you there's something you. What will you say?
I'll come back to you.
I'm not lying, no. It's true. Government will tell you, we see no Marshall. From tomorrow, we don't want to see black cap. It's against the government. It's not because government, sometimes when we are talking, you say, my brother, watch your language. It's not because of government that will tell you tomorrow because of what we say, Obaye said, go and pay 20 million, go and pay 10 million. Will you say no? You will say no. So, when you're also talking about government, you also try to see that it's not good, sir, but not government.
Okay. All right, you heard me said a court's injunction or court, whatever is being called is a case of national security. A major concern now that the people being used to carry out these nefarious activities in the southeastern region of Nigeria, the youths. Sit at home. If you don't sit at home, you get to see youths coming out to attack, youths coming out to maim, youths coming out to do one or two things to destabilize the peace and tranquility of that region. How come the youths are so much involved in this?
Well, I'll start by saying that the youths, for example, like you mentioned, are a section of the economy by demographics that have, I think, okay, from the last demographic that was released, if you want to pick the youth from 15 to 40 years of age, then that's like 40% of the population, and they are energetic, very, very prone to youthful exuberance, and the government has recognized the value, the negative value of that population to their nefarious activities. And I think that it's part of the agitations that we've been making and part of the campaigns that we've been having, that this country belongs to us. The same set of leaders and people vying for positions are probably in their 60s and above, and in another 40 years will not be around anymore. It is Nigeria that will be left for us as the youths. We are the same set of persons that are going to reap off from this. But let's not also forget the unemployment rate. Nigeria is growing, and amongst the youthful population, there is a current unemployment rate of 53%. And if you have that level of unemployment, then it means that you can easily utilize this same set of persons who ordinarily we have been ascribed to jobless and unemployed Nigerian youths. These same set of persons are now available for you to use for other nefarious activities because they need the money. So it's a tool that government has been using over the years. The first tool is unemployment, to impoverish them and ensure that they are hungry and money sick. So when that happens, they are able to bring some form of negotiations and offers prior to the election, during the election, and even after the election, to say, this is what I want you to do, and in return, this is what I'm going to give to you. So the campaigns all over has been that there is no amount of money that is required, that is enough for you to go and, first of all, risk your life, and then risk the future of Nigeria at this point in time. So I think that's basically the poverty, the impoverishment, the unemployment that has been used as tools of government and of politicians over the years. It's more like a recurrent decimal, and that's where we are.
All right. So, Baraya, how can we curb this sit-at-home order from hampering with our election? What do you think government should do? Because from your analysis, you're giving government as saying if they want to do something, they will do it. After all, after God, according to you, is government. How do you think this can be resolved to give us a peaceful election in that region? Briefly, our time is up.
Yeah, the same government now is what we are going back to again, to go and meet them, to beg, to say, come and do it right.
Oh, to beg?
You need to beg, because already I have never told you that the leaders of this country are helpful. They've done their worst, and this is the worst they can do. So now their time is tickling. The people shouting now, they would have used these resources, used this sit-at-home order to lecture their people on how to vote. To also let them know that the day of voting is not supposed to be the day of football. Yeah, they are supposed, this is where they need to work more. Because after 2023, if they lost this, the agitation again goes
to the next level.
Yes, just as my brother here said, they say they are seeing the promised land. Are you getting it now? Now, if you go and act like Moses or Abraham, your own will be, you will see it, you will not enter it. Another person there will not take you to the promised land. This is supposed to be the time for sober reflection, that we be getting it low. Is it not me that will not support an area that I know that they don't got in power now? Individuals are already speaking to say, sit at home, don't go this, do that. No, you are not. You don't have. You need us, we need you, you need the north, you need the west, you need everybody to get whatever you want to get. Now your own people, you're already fighting amongst yourself, telling that you can come here, you cannot come here, blowing INEC issues. Offices. Tomorrow, INEC now tells you this is the result of this place. How will you not say, no, evidences, you blew them off. You are spoiling your own fight. Are you getting it now? It's like a man that knows that this is the judge. Mr. Marshall is the judge in his case at a High Court. And you go to a high court, the judge is coming, start fighting. Why are you fighting? The man will carry. So already you show that judge that this character of you. So what the judge does is a little issue to say, no, now, with what I've been doing, little evidences before me. So pretend to be good this period, just pretend. If you try
to be good.
Yeah, pretend to be good so that people will say, oh, these people want it. From your behavior, you already lost to a battle. Because now with all these fears you are doing, the government before that, you know, that don't want you, that you're supposed to cajole, you're already going against them. So at the end of the day, government will tell you, this is what we want to do. On election day, my brother, with all these issues, will people still come out on election day?
Thank you. Thank you.
Then now you now also now have where you were expecting few, you don't even have up to 15 million, let's say 6 million votes. With fear and sit at home more than now, you now have 1.3 million. Now you now be complaining to say we were cheated. Have you ever heard this INEC issue happening in other areas?
Good
because
question.
they know the value of what is coming.
Thank you so much, Obara. Your last line within 1 minute, please. What advice do you have for the youths out there?
Well, Nigeria is on the edge of the cliff, and it's about falling off. The country is at the point where, after 2023 elections, if we don't make the right decisions for our country, then it's going to be unsafe for all of us. These security agitations that we think is predominant in the east will be in the south. I was in Ebonyi, was it 3 months ago, and the place where I stayed, the tension of the southeast is almost palpable. You can't stay there for in fact, that same day there were shootings as a result of a Peter Obi rally that the governor David Mai wanted to go and truncate, and it's almost like that everywhere in the southeast. My professor went to go and invigilate an exam, a professional exam in Ebonyi and in Enugu, and complained of the same thing. In fact, his students that he was supposed to invigilate for about 2 hours, he did everything in 1 hour, wrote his report as an external examiner, and ran back to Benin. That is the severity of what we have. And to be fair, it's not just in the southeast. If we don't tackle the issues of governance ahead of 2023 elections and after 2023 elections, Nigeria will be unsafe for all of us.
All right, thank you so much. If we don't do something right now to be unsafe for all of us, and of course, I advise the eastern region to please take it easy, stop attacking that installation for your own sake. Because if they bring out the results, you don't have any right to argue because you've blown up the offices. Where will the evidence come from? You bombed courts, you attack police, you are attacking yourself. You are making your vote almost irrelevant. At least what is it? Pretend to be good. And let's say, okay, you are good. Just pretend for peace to reign. Please do pretend, gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming on today's show. I appreciate a wonderful analysis. Hope they will listen because they are watching. Do the right thing.